Happy Friday, everyone. This is Edward. Warm welcome to another episode of the Friday Roast. In this episode, we are going to roast a specific category of websites, or industry rather, which is construction. So, what I always do every single Friday is I go live and I want to show you how you can basically analyze a website to figure out how do you improve your messaging? How do you make sure that it ranks better? How do you make sure that you tell a better story and convert more of the visitors into actual leads and opportunities and followers and so on and so forth. So for me, my background is I've done this for more than 15 years, analyzed more than 30,000 websites. So for me, I know this like the back of my hand. It's very easy for me to see if a website is going to be high converting or low converting. And I don't know everything though. So today I have brought in someone that I know and trust who's been working in the construction industry himself and today works as a copywriter for emails. His name is Kevin, and I'm going to let him in, and him and I together are going to be going through and analyzing a couple of different websites in the construction space that we prepared so that you can learn and see what are the small little tweaks and details you can change for better outcome and results from the website. So Kevin should be with us here. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, what's going on, Edward? Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to have you. I feel like there's a lot of people who are struggling with exactly what you're good at, which is copywriting. And there's obviously very many different types of copywriting, but having experience within the construction industry yourself, I think you're probably on the better half of the equation, to put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I specialize in email marketing for the most part, but I've been exposed to tons of different websites, sales pages, opt-ins, all the funnels that end up leading someone to end up converting. So
that's why we need you. So are you in Brazil now, or where are you based?
Yeah. I just got to Brazil recently. I was previously living in New Jersey, but my wife's from Brazil originally, so she's got family out here. And since of the recent career change, we decided to come out here and experience what it's like to speak Portuguese and hang out with Brazilians.
Yeah, I went to Brazil for the first time in the last year, and I thought having basic Spanish, I thought I'm gonna get a hang of it really quick. No freaking chance. No chance. It's so freaking hard, and the pronunciation is just super difficult as well.
Oh my God, it's like Spanish on a roller coaster. That's what I like to say.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, do you want to give just a little bit of a background of your professional? A little bit of an intro to your professional background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, so I'm an email copywriter, email marketer, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I help different e-commerce, specifically e-commerce, but a lot of different personal brands as well. I help them develop their email list and build out their automations, set out broadcast emails, and help them add a little bit of personalization to the email world and what we like to call corporate mayo.
Gotcha.
So we try to fight against corporate mayo a little bit every single day by adding a little bit of personalization and connection to email copywriting.
Yeah.
So that's me. I got a business called Direct Copy, and I also help build out websites with my wife as well. So we're kind of a joint team. Her plug is MLS Studios.
Yeah, gotcha. There's what do you say is? I know there's so many things here that copywriting can very often be a little bit of a delicate taste. For some people, they like this message, and some people like that message. But when it comes to messaging on websites, is there any kind of things that you have noticed that people tend to do too much of or too little of, or any kind of clear takeaways or lessons that you picked up on there?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the hardest part about writing copy for your website is trying to focus on your customer and their problems and the benefits that you can provide them while while not clearing your throat so much inside your copy and trying to boast about all the things that you do well. The focus needs to be on the client, and it's really hard to be able to relate that while still boasting a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You and I are going to go through a couple of different websites together now, and we're going to, like what I always tend to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to look at around 2, 3, 4 different websites that we both have had a chance to have a little bit of a look at in advance. We can prepare and actually have some solid commentary on them. And I'm going to go straight in here now and share my screen. So let me know when you see it. I'm going to start with a little bit of an interesting thing where I'm going to showcase how we can do research. So what I found myself being very typical when it comes to websites is people have no idea what they can expect. Like, all right, I'm going to build a new website. Like, can this give me any leads? Can it give me 10 leads? Can it give me 50? Like, they have no idea. So I found an AI tool that I think can be just at a really good frame for what we're going to dig into here. And this is a tool that everyone can go in and use. It's called Perplexity AI. And Perplexity AI is essentially like Google on steroids. Google only gives you the results that have been search engine optimized, typically. And we all see pretty much the same results. Maybe our locations are a little bit different and impacts and so on and so forth. But Perplexity goes through the entire internet, even like forums and Reddit and like all these kind of different sites to find examples to answer the question we're gonna give it. So I'm going to do this here. I'm doing research for a construction company based in the US. And then I'm going to remove this here because construction says itself. They're building a new website. I want to get an estimate of what is possible in terms of lead generated on a monthly basis. The conversion, I think we should say like call us or get a quote. Do you think that is a good typical call to action for construction website?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's the typical thing that you're going to see on a website because you need to get the details of a project before you can give a quote of anything.
Exactly. So let's do this search here. This now goes through the entire internet to find everything. It's also going to look for case studies, A/B tests, like a bunch of different things. And the good thing about this is, for example, ChatGPT or some of these tools, they make up a lot of information and have no sources. These guys will never give us a result without having a source it can refer to. So it's very kind of trustworthy. So have a look at this then. Based on search results and industry data, here are some key insights and estimates for lead generation potential for a US-based construction company website. Lead volume potential. According to HubSpot, organizations generate on average 1,800 leads per month across industries. That sounds very, very high.
Yeah.
Construction companies generate around 800 leads per month on average. IT and services, okay, this is a little bit different. So here's what I want to get into. Call us and get a quote conversions aiming for 3 to 9% in conversion rate of website visitors should be reasonable. That's really good to know because that obviously should be like the benchmark we should try to follow. The cost per lead is around $200 typically, depending on how you do that, obviously. We have some general A/B tests here. One company saw a 30% increase in leads within 6 months by implementing a customer referral program. That's interesting. Ensure the website is mobile optimized, as 50% of traffic most likely come from mobile devices. That's really good to bear in mind as well, as we do this little roast here. Implement a fast loading website, as each 1 second delayed can reduce conversions by 7%. Yeah. And lastly, when it comes to traffic, 76% of marketers use content to generate leads. Content marketing generates 54% more leads than traditional marketing. All right. This is kind of interesting. So I think what they're doing here, they have a quite high estimate of the amount of leads per month, but maybe this is because of the outliers. You have the very biggest company that might get like tens of thousands of leads. So when you put the average, it can become a quite high number.
Yeah, that seems insane to me. 15.
Yeah.
1,500 to 2,000 leads. I mean, and that is based on what?
Yeah. But again, it has the resource here, so we can go in and check. But if it's a small construction company, how many leads is a good benchmark? Let's see here. And this is the cool thing. So you basically have a conversation with this tool, and then it gives you all the kind of answers, if it can find some, of course. But I'm sure it's going to give some form of ID here. So here, for small construction company, aiming for 20 to 50 leads per month could be a good and reasonable target. And I think that sounds more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right, that's good. So first out, we're going to look at a few different quality of websites today. The very first one we're going to dig into is a company. So basically the way that I do this, I just go and Google, and I go to all different, I don't just look at the first page, but I take a couple of examples from the first page, a couple from the second page, and so on and so forth, then just go and get a really good feel for the overall industry. Mm-hmm. So as we do this, we're going to start with a company now that is called Arco Consulting Group. And Arco Consulting Group is a company that was not on the first page. I think these were on like 7th or 8th page on Google. But I'll bring them up here. You can see it on your side, Kevin?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep. All right, perfect. So let's dig in here. The very first thing that we need to bear in mind, if the process now is that we are a potential buyer and we did a Google search, we find these guys, but of course we're looking at other competitors as well. And we're going to make a decision of who we want to engage with. So that's just good to know about the whole process we're going to give feedback from, or perspective, so to speak, context. So question for you here. What is the first thing your eyes are drawn to when you look at the sites?
I guess the first thing are the photos, and they stick out to me as extremely generic, photos that they probably found on Google.
Yep. I agree. They seem very stock photo. Maybe this here could be a little bit more. Maybe that's not a stock photo, but that looks like a stock photo, and that looks like a typical stock photo.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yes, eyes are always drawn to photos and strong colors, contrasting colors. First of all, so I see those photos as well. My overall first impression is very bad.
Yeah.
Again, this is a website roast, and this is of course meant to be constructive, but it's really helpful to get the honest truth, I believe. So we should try to be as honest as possible when we look at this website. So the first thing that I see is just black background, and we're met by a big freaking chunk of text here right in the dead center.
Yeah.
For me, if I would see a website like this, my instant reaction is skepticism.
Yeah, for sure.
I know nothing about their quality of work. I don't know what they specialize on, and I know nothing. But if their website looks like this, I'm already here like, okay, if that's your website, I doubt your actual service is going to have the same kind of, or a better quality.
Yeah. Just to add something about the typical website that you're going to see within the construction industry is probably something like this, especially for more like the smaller companies. I mean, I would say that 50% of leads really typically are coming to them through word of mouth. I mean, it's all about it's all about your network in the construction industry and who you know, really. That's how most of your leads come through. But having a strong website is really what's going to put you above a lot of your other competitors and get you better clients at the end of the day.
100%. Let's dig in a little bit about the messaging itself. Let's give these guys a little bit of a second chance here. So about us, and by the way, great that that is a very good input. You know much better about this than I do. I think you know the industry better than I do, although I might have looked at more websites than you have. But
sure.
Here we see now, the first thing we're going to read is about us. Opening its doors in Elizabeth, New Jersey on April 1st, 1991. which is probably most likely when this website was built.
Yeah, you can actually see at the bottom the copyright date.
Oh yeah, 2010. There we go. Exactly. And it looks created by CPG Interactive, which is probably then a web agency.
Right.
Yeah.
A web agency that's most likely out of business or no longer active.
Well, you see here, they still have their website, but maybe they've been bought up or something. But again, like
Sure.
we can't blame them for that. Maybe if this was built in 2010, sure. But Arco Construction is a privately held corporation owned by the Cabrera family. At its inception, founder Angel Cabrera established two objectives for the company's future: to sustain steady growth by increasing its revenue annually, and to strive to be profitable in every year of its existence. The hard work and long hours succeeded in those early years paid off as the business thrived and the projects grew progressively larger and more complex. Arco Construction has distinguished itself in the construction industry by providing services based on its value: trust, safety, service, responsibility, stewardship, and teamwork. Our team members truly believe in serving our customers' interests and having a strong partner relationship with each project owners, designer, and engineer, and subcontractors. Okay, so what I pick up on what they say here is, okay, it's a nice little introduction, but first of all, you never want to make a big chunk of text like this the first thing people read on a website. Right. So I would say if we start, there's a couple of different elements I think we can judge this from, but our way should always be looking at this: will this generate opportunities? That's really what the goal of a website should be in their case. It's not for fun. It's not so I can go and have fun on a Friday afternoon. It's like, I'm here because I want to see if this is some kind of organization that I might be hiring for my own needs. And design-wise, the design is the first thing you take in before you even read the text. Design here is obviously a zero. If we do 0 out of 5. There's nothing impressive about the design so far. Messaging, I would, instead of this here, I would have a big, simple message in one sentence that says, here is what we're specialized in.
Right.
And under there, maybe a little bit of a subheading that talks a little bit more about where they're located, where they provide their services, and maybe something that is important to know about what makes them different and unique from other construction agencies.
100%. Yeah, you need to make it super clear, super fast, exactly what you do, and exactly how you can benefit the person. That's exactly.
Yep. Then they should have a call to action. Right now, I'm looking for call to actions. And again, interesting thing with how people use websites these days is menus get a little bit invisible because they don't stand out as clearly as the stuff in the dead center. Menus always up. And here, there's nothing that sticks out. Click here if you're interested to talk to us. All of these have the same size, same color. And here we have the contact us. If we click on that, okay, this is also interesting. They don't even have a contact form. They don't have a booking calendar. I need to copy their email and go to my own email client and send a message. Or I need to pick up my phone and call this number. So they're making it very, very hard for us to engage too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, at least you know where they're located on Google Maps, so you could drive to their office.
That's true. That we could do as well. That's a smart thing.
Going real old school.
Yeah. There is a couple of things that I pick up on here. So they have certifications and affiliations. Stuff like this is very, very good, especially for a construction agency, because you need to know that they actually are good at what they do, know what they're doing. For sure.
Yeah, and the things that they list here are pretty impressive, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems
here
like
I'm blind. Tell me, what do you see here?
So it looks like they have the Public Works contractor registration. So that means that they can work on public projects that are funded by the state or the town. So there's this, and those type of projects are very specific and they have specific guidelines for bidding on those projects, and everything is very transparent with the bidding process on those types of projects. So if you can say that you've been awarded some of those projects, that means that you have basically a good quality of work that you can prove that you can land those types of contracts.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the other certifications I see is the small business, minority business. They're part of the NJBA, and they're part of the Professional Women in Construction. So they hit a lot of these groups. A lot of these groups, they receive certain tax breaks and are preferred on some specific projects for different commercial construction projects.
Right.
So it's good. I mean, it's a huge selling point.
Yeah. Interesting. It's great because I had no idea how important that is specifically in the industry.
Yeah, it's specific. If that's, I mean, it's really important if those are the types of projects that you're going after. I mean, they're very hard contracts to win. Those public contracts, because everything is so transparent. It's not so relationship based. It's typically more based on price and your ability to fill out all the paperwork required to submit a bid form, and all of the tax implications that come around it.
Super. That's very good input. Very good input. So good content. They do have trust and credibility, but the way they're presenting that is very bad, obviously. So, okay. If you would be able to do some tweaks to the messaging here, is there any kind of things that stick out to you, or like low-hanging fruit that you like, that you would recommend?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the second line after the first sentence says the hard work and long hours expended in those early years paid off as the business thrived, as projects grew progressively larger and more. Oh, that's not what I was. The last line, to sustain steady growth by increasing its revenue annually, to strive to be profitable in every year of its existence. That's the last line of the first paragraph. That specifically stands out to me because, to me as a consumer, I'm like, why is that? That's not important to me, whether or not you've been profitable. I mean, I think it's great that you've been able to stay in business, but that shouldn't be that shouldn't be a selling point to me specifically.
Agreed. What that makes me think is, like, are they trying to appeal to investors with that?
Yeah. It also makes me think, like, what do you mean by strive to be profitable? Are they jacking up their prices? Like, are they being in the bid process? Are they, being too aggressive?
Yeah. So there is obviously a couple of different audiences that they might be trying to attract to this website. It could be the actual buyer. It could be investors. Mm-hmm. I also see up here in the menu, they have job opportunities, which means they're probably going to try to attract employees through the website as well. Or that at least one of the things it could do. But I fully agree. It's not the messaging that I would put. I would put that in, like, under a sub tab here for foreign web investors, if that was the case.
Right.
Anything that I've seen so far here doesn't say what makes them different and unique. They don't build a lot of trust and credibility in a good way. They have the content, but just the packaging or the presentation of that is really lackluster. Design is not there at all. If you go to services here. Okay. So you know the industry a little bit better than me here, but are these, when you read the different services, what does that make you think?
Yeah, it makes me think that that they are more involved with a lot of these public projects, which are typically on the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to price. They're larger contracts typically, so that's a good sign. But also, they have. It seems to me like they've got hands in a lot of different kind of buckets. There's no real specialty that they try to highlight here. I mean, it's good that they have the capabilities to do all of these different kinds of services, but I think it's important to relay what your specialty is and what sets you apart within the construction industry.
Yep, that's right. I noticed some things here as well. We wish to partner with owners, architects, engineers, and other consultants in creating not only quality structures, but also quality relationships. But then services is hospitality. That's not a service, is it? Like, that's the industry they serve.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they list hospitality, that it means that they do projects for different people or different clients within the hospitality industry.
Yeah, that's of course what it means there, but it doesn't belong into that box. A service is for me a different thing, but who we serve, that's another thing. And then we have quality, like the worst partnership. Quality best describe the manner in which we operate our business. If we're looking at quality, that's not the website, I'm afraid. Again, we have the same structure here with the website. Are people honest, hardworking, professional, and energetic? That's not what the website reflects whatsoever so far. Projects. Okay, again, here, design-wise, there's so much they need to work on here. Yeah. So I think it's a quick summary. I think everyone who watches this, and now it's time for the visitor here to be a little bit participant and active. As you are watching this, please give your own little rating from 1 to 5 stars. What stands out with you with this website? What would you recommend? Because this is not meant to be us trashing Arco. This is really meant to be helpful so that they can improve their own website with really good, solid advice for people who have no stake in what they do. Like, in this case, me and Kevin. So we just know a lot about how to build really good, promising websites, and this obviously is quite far from that right now. So for me, this is just a 0 out of a 0 website. I would be very surprised if they get a single lead per month through this website.
Yeah,
very surprised.
Agreed. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case a lot in small businesses within construction companies. You know, they could be a $5-10 million company, and we would have no idea through this website.
Yeah, interesting. Alrighty, so hopefully this feedback was useful. If anyone at Arco ever watches this, the single website we're going to move into now is, let's see here. We have a far more different website, which is dallascontracting.com. So here we now see something that is miles ahead of what we just looked at. Mm-hmm. We see a photo in the background. It is quite dark. Yep. It's not just me who has bad eyesight. It is quite dark. But here we see Dallas Contracting offers demolition and crushing services nationwide. Okay, so that text, it seems like it was going to be rotating, but it's actually not. It's the same text.
Yeah, I noticed that too. You would think that they would have some kind of different headlines that relate to each other as you click, but it's just the same.
Now, here is where we're going to go back to our friend Perplexity, because the first thing we see is a rotating slider. And I've looked into this many, many times. Are there any A/B tests that conclude how effective rotating sliders are in the hero section? Okay, because I've looked into this in the past, and I think we're going to find some quite interesting A/B tests here. Based on search results, there is strong evidence from A/B tests and expert opinions that rotating sliders, also called as carousels and image sliders in the here sections, are generally ineffective and can even be detrimental to the website performance and conversions. Here are some key findings. Conversion rates. Widerfunnel, a conversion rate optimization firm, has tested rotating offers many times and found them to be a poor way of presenting a homepage content. Their founder, Chris Goward, stated, "We've rarely seen them win in a test." Usability consultant Craig Tomlin reported that among hundreds of sites he tracked, the average click-through rate for a carousel was less than 1%.
Wow.
Jesus, that's not good. In one study, versions without sliders outperformed those with sliders by on average 16%.
Wow.
So that's one thing that's just quite interesting to bear in mind here. Rotating sliders, if you're trying and want to have that on a website, I see so many websites that have that. But the stats and the A/B tests, like, again, here's the difference. Do you want something that you like, or do you want something that proves to work? If you want something that proves to work, you should not have a rotating slider like that. But I want to give them a little bit of credit too. And maybe this is because of the contrast of the previous site we looked at, but much, much more beautiful, aesthetically pleasing website. First of all, I would probably just make the photos a little bit more brighter and colorful, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And that's a surprising fact to hear that. I mean, you look online today and you see how many websites have this effect, and how ineffective it truly is. That's seriously surprising to me.
It is. But that's the thing that I've found so many times. When we look into the data, it's like, oh yeah, of course you should have this here, or you should have a video here, or you should do this. And then when we look at the data, the data will tell us the truth, because we're not building websites for fun. We're building them with the desire to make them convert and engage audience. And if they don't, obviously it doesn't work, no matter how much we like the outlook. A quick question for you then, Kevin. If we look at the messaging, Dallas Contracting offers demolition and crushing services nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a good message to you, or how would you change it?
Yeah, I would say it's not great. It could be improved. It's still pretty general, even though they're naming demolition and crushing. So what kind of demolition and what kind of crushing? Because there's concrete crushing, there's asphalt crushing, and within the demolition, I mean, you can see from the photos that it looks like full wrecking demolition because of the machinery, but you have to make that assumption, and it could be different. They could provide interior demolition services as well. That they're not highlighting. I think it could be more succinct on what they offer. It's good that they included nationwide, because it's not really something that a lot of demolition companies offer. I mean, I can talk to this because I actually used to work at a demolition company, but we used to specialize in specifically interior demolition. So there's a big difference between full building wrecking demolition and interior selective demolition. So I think it'd be good for them to differentiate exactly what kind of demolition that they're specialists in.
Yep. When I read this message myself, my thoughts is like, if you and I meet each other at an event and you say, "Hey, Edward, who are you?" Well, I'm a human being that is living on the planet and working in this space. It's like, it doesn't really say that much for me.
Right.
This is like, there's so many ways that I would say that they can do it's clear. We get what they do, which is good, but it's not told in an attractive way.
Right.
I want to bring up an example of a website that we have built that is not a competitor. It's in this same space, but in a different kind of service. But it's just a website that I refer to all the time because they have such a good hero section. And look at the way they present their messaging here. So here you see a video in the background, really nice and colorful and like really professional. The message itself, here we then say the number one choice for construction warranty solution. So it's like a much better way to say something. Not just that they offer construction warranty solutions. If they would have the same messaging as the company we just looked at here, Dallas Construction, it would be like, we offer construction warranty solutions.
Right.
But now that they were the number one choice for construction warranty solution, that's a lot better of a message. Then here, they have a little bit about who they appeal to, a little bit more about who they are and what they offer. You have a call to action, get a quote. Here you have a certification, an award. You have Google reviews. And below here, you have a couple of unique selling points. So I spoke with these guys just, I think it was a week ago or so. And there's still things that we want to improve with this even further. But if we compare this to this here, messaging-wise, I'm very much more captivated by Built Warranty.
100%. You don't even have. I don't see a call to action here.
Yep.
For Dallas, there's no social proof. It's just a bunch of pictures. I'm not sure if these are pictures of projects that they've worked on, or if they're just stock images.
Yep.
Some messaging there would help, but probably not to be included like in the background photos.
Yeah. I would say at the bare minimum for a hero section, and again, the hero section is probably the most important part of the entire website, because if this is bad, people are just going to drop off like freaking flies. And for now, design is good. They say what they do. So, I mean, this is the bare minimum, but it's not going to be a high performance, I would say. Let's keep going then. Building demolition company in New Jersey. Concrete crushing, equipment salvage, interior dismantlement, brownfield redevelopment. Here again, you probably know what this means a lot better than I do.
Yeah. I don't know. Brownfield redevelopment. Maybe that might be a specific project that they've been working on that's related to some type of site work. Maybe like site work is just digging up the ground basically, and for a new project.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they have their hands in a lot of buckets here.
Yep.
They provide a lot of different services. So again, it's good that they can offer those services, but you would really want to be able to focus your attention on the specific client that you want to work with.
Yep. I agree. And I think here again, the first sentence, they've already kind of said that doesn't really add that much value. I would also want to be able to know a little bit more about these different services, like interior dismantlement. I'm not sure if that's for me. It'd be great if I can get like a little bit more information about what that service is by clicking on it, but now I can't click here.
Right.
Another thing I noticed with their get a quote here, when I've used a lot of A/B testing and examples in the past, there's some strong suggestions to say that your call to action should be in a very contrasting color to the rest of the site. And this here kind of like, look at this screen that we're looking at right now real quick. Where's the call to action? You won't even see it because it blends in with the text and background and everything else there.
I think it's a good point. I think it's great that we decided to do this with my experience in the construction industry, because the juxtaposition between you not having any experience and me knowing a little, it really makes clear to me like why this is their wording, and it makes sense. It makes me think that this is probably put together by somebody at the company or somebody within the construction industry, because a lot of the wording that they're using here is like the interior dismantlement and selective dismantlement. It's just that's basically a fancy way of saying interior demolition, selective interior
dismantlement. This guy saying that with a hat and a cocktail, writing dismantlement.
Right. Exactly. But these are like, they wanted to try and differentiate or elevate the wording, and it really just creates confusion in my point of view.
Yeah. I asked our friend Perplexity here, when it comes to color of a call to action button, there are several best practices and insights to consider. Contrast is key. The most crucial factors in a CTA button effectiveness is not specific color, but rather how much button contrasts with its surroundings. High contrasts help the button stand out and attract attention. There's no universal best color. Yeah, this is obviously based on the brand of the company and so on and so forth. Red, green, yellow, and orange are popular choices because they are bright and eye-catching. Blue, yellow, orange, and black are also recommended by some experts. Yeah, I don't know if we can call their call to action orange or white in this case, because the border is white and the text is white, but the color itself is orange. Mm-hmm. Okay. A/B testing. It's crucial to test different colors for a specific website. For example, HubSpot found that changing the CTR from green to red increased conversions by 21%. That's so insane.
Wow.
Nothing else changed as the color.
Do you have any experience with A/B testing when you're building websites?
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you see mostly when? How long does it take to see results?
Yeah. So here's the thing. For very small business, sometimes it's not worth doing A/B tests, simply because if you have 100 visitors to your website, like that could just be a fluke. Mm-hmm. You need a fairly good size of the sample data to be able to really make any good conclusions.
Right.
The CEO of our company just posted this yesterday. So here's like a couple of examples that we always tend to see. Scenario 1, an e-commerce website with 100,000 monthly visitors. Look at this here. This is why I think conversion rate is such an underestimated thing. If you go from 2% conversion rate to 3% and you have 100,000 visitors, this is obviously a quite big organization. But that meant from 2,000 in sales to 3,000 in sales. That is basically $25,000 more per month with 1% improvement.
Wow.
So that's why if you're a small company, like, it might not be worth doing A/B testing in some cases if you don't have enough data, or you just need to run it over a long period of time. There's another example here. Here's a website with 1,000 visitors. The goal was to book consultations. Average value per consultation was $3,000, and the current conversion rate was 5%. When we then took this up to 7%, it means revenue per month $150,000 to $210,000. Wow. So 40% increase in revenue by just improving the conversion rate by 2%. So that's why I think a lot of people are sleeping on stuff like this. Like, what is going to make a difference? 5% or 8% or 10% or 15%. But if you really span that out on a lot of data, it makes a huge freaking difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked that question just because A/B testing is so crucial and important within email marketing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you constantly have to be A/B testing. And in order for it to be effective, you have to have a large enough sample size for it to make sense to test to. So I just thought that was interesting that it goes hand in hand with websites as well. And the amount of impact just 1% increase in lift can have on a business because of a small tweak in your copy, a small change in the color that you're using on the website. I mean, it's incredible to see.
Definitely. And again, it just makes sure that we get the truth. You and I are not here just to give our opinions. That's why I always like to go and fact check and see that are we actually giving solid advice that has some legs here, or are we talking out of our asses? But this for me is so freaking important, and 99% of people have no idea. Like, oh, we should change the color of a button. I heard about one guy. I can't remember where I heard the story. There was somewhere I picked this up on, but there was this guy who charged $50,000 for conversion rate optimization. The very first thing he typically did on every single client was to change the main call to action, the color, to green. And on average, he saw a 9% increase in conversions from that. I can't remember the context here because, again, maybe he was specialized in a specific industry and it was e-commerce, whatever that was. But like just doing 9% increase in conversions, you should do that every single time.
100%.
Yeah. Let's go a little bit further here. So here we see now contractor service gallery. I don't even see the gallery.
This is a video.
Something is strange here. Yeah, I don't see a gallery. I see. Do you see that there's text? I'm trying to.
So I think that I don't see a gallery, but all I see is the smokestack removal video. And my assumption is that maybe there's more of their projects within that video. Even though it's whoa,
yes, this is what we want in a webinar. Smash it. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's basically just a video of a demolition.
Yeah, there's no gallery. They thought that video was cool, so they were like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good that they have video content. Video content is definitely recommended. I know too little about demolition to say if this is impressive or good or bad or whatever. For me, it looks pretty good, but there's definitely better video content that could be used there.
It's definitely cool. I don't know if you can say how impressive it is. I mean, it definitely takes some specialty to know where to put the explosives and get the permits to do it. But I think it would be more impressive to see them slowly like maybe a time-lapse video of them slowly dismantling a building with one of their large machines. That shows a lot more skill and precision to me.
Yeah. And then we have contact us today here, reach out. Well, they have like this our mission section here, which is, I mean, I don't mind it. It's just normally not why I choose a company, so it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have the call to action here, reach out. Again, if we look at conversion rate optimization and A/B testing, this is not going to be what I would use here. I would say get a free quote.
Yeah, that conveys more value.
Yeah. I would say we can obviously go through some of the services. Okay, here we can go and click into some of the different services. Let's just pick one. What should we pick here?
Well, let's see. A lot of these are pretty typical, except for environmental remediation and plant closing services. Yeah, why don't you click on that? Because
plant closing services?
Yeah. I'm curious to see what that's all about. So they help decommission old asbestos-riddled buildings.
Right, yeah.
Oh, That's interesting because that's not a service that many demolition contractors offer.
Yeah, I would say, and based on the presentation, again, you know the ins and out a lot better, but the presentation of the service is not that attractive either.
Oh, this is something I wanted to mention here when I was looking through this earlier.
Yeah.
If you look at that it says click on the blue colored services to see examples of projects. And they like typically you would think you could click on that, but you can't. You know, the functionality of the user experience for it could use some improvement.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've seen enough of these guys. I would say my conclusion here is good design. The design is not the bad part for these guys compared to the first example we looked at, but messaging is very weak. They aren't really explaining the services really attractively. They have poor call to actions that doesn't stand out. I don't know what makes them different and unique. I don't really know. They haven't built any form of trust and credibility whatsoever. I know I can go and click on projects, but you need to do that on the homepage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not enticing me to engage. So I think once again here, at least they say what they do, and at least they have good design. But if you're looking at conversion, again, I would think this is going to be they're not going to be near 20 to 30 leads per month unless they rank really high on Google.
Yeah, which I think they do. I think they're very busy demolition company. They were actually a company we used to bid against.
That could be. I just think that they aren't utilizing, they aren't tapping into their full potential lead generation wise.
Agreed.
Far from it. Okay. So what I would recommend here also to fix this, you can keep the same design. I would make a much better hero message with saying who they are in a trustworthy way, have some form of trust and credibility, social proof, have a clear call to action with a contrasting color right away. And that should be get a free quote. I would add a little bit better video content. To their homepage, I would add why should I choose you? Because there's obviously many different demolition companies out there. I have no idea why these guys are the best. I would add a little bit about maybe perhaps their engagement process. Request a free quote. We'll get back to you within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And we can start the project within the next amount of days, like something like that. And just have a little bit of a better overview of their services. Those are some of the things that I would do to improve the conversion rate of this website. But I think that would be a drastic improvement if they can do those things.
Agreed.
Time for the audience here. Please, in the comment field, let us know what do you think about this website. Any comments, any thoughts, any ideas, or at the very least, give us a number from 0 to 5 how much you like this website.
Yeah, right, I'm curious to hear your rating, Edward. What would you give this one?
My rating is 2.
2? Wow.
Yeah. Again, this is not like, if we're really looking at, there also is some form of differences from industry to industry. And I think the construction industry aren't the most sales marketing type of industry. So maybe I could stretch to go to a 3. But I always want to judge this of how capable is this to bring in leads? That's really what I'm measuring. Not how much I like it, how much do I think it's going to be able to bring in leads? And yeah, there are so many things there with the messaging that would make me just like, I didn't find what I came for.
Right.
Yeah,
I can see that.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, based on the messaging, I would agree. It's far off from where it could be. You know, it's definitely a big step up from what we saw from Arco. But yeah, for sure, there's some small things that they could change that would make a huge impact.
Yeah, I agree. We have one last website that we're going to go through. And this is the last website here is, I'm actually going to divert a little bit from our initial plan. and take one that I remember finding on the first page of Google. So if you're on the first page of Google, let's see what they end up with here. So now I'm going to go into a company that's called Bella Contracting Services.com.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So I would say aesthetically, we started at 0. We jumped up to maybe a 3 and a 4. And if we're looking at aesthetics, I'm thinking we're touching a 5 here so far.
Okay.
So aesthetically, this looks really, really nice. Let's go in to once again break it down. That doesn't mean that the whole website is a 5 out of 5. But this is obviously ranking really high on Google. And once again, we see this rotating slider. So we've already looked into the detail of that, and that is obviously not something that would be advised in terms of a conversion rate perspective. I also don't, here's something that bugs me user experience wise. There's no way I can press this or pause this rotation. So I'm like, the best structural demolition company, Bella Contracting Services and Experience, and then it stuff like that pisses people off all the time.
Yeah.
And when you cause that kind of frustration with someone, you're drastically decreasing your chances of them staying on the website. Messaging wise, though, I think they have good message here. America's top-rated general contractor for more than 20 years. We have offered quality contracting national services wide. So messaging wise, a lot better. The best structural, no, it was on this one. And look here, now I need to find the right one too. Residential, commercial, and industrial construction. America's top-rated general contractor. The video in the background again, and the photos, the imagery, very, very nice and professional. Another thing that I notice here is 100+ reviews from independent sites, 5 stars, very good, build trust. 24/7 emergency service. All right. That sounds like something that would be very valuable. Easy to get in touch. Call us anytime. Email. And here's our address. The thing that I would say, though, is we're talking about websites. Something that we think a lot about is what's called the screen real estate. You want to use the screen real estate really effectively. And right now, they have their top menu is that 1/3 of the entire screen. Okay, it's a very, very big menu. Very big logo type. I don't. It looks professional, but I would not take that much space for a menu. I would rather increase the size of the photos.
Yeah, a big area they're taking up there. Just for email us, call us, and the logo. I mean,
and plus the again, we talked about the contrasting colors of the call to actions. They're not contrasting whatsoever, so they blend in a little bit with the logo type almost, or the same. It's well aligned to their brand, but I would make sure that the call to actions a little bit sticks out a little bit more. Here, get a quote. Call today. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I would say call us today to receive a quote for your next demolition project. Okay. Design-wise here, really beautiful. I'll say it. This is 5 out of 5 aesthetically. Very, very beautiful. Nice kind of sketches and drawings in the background. 25 years of experience. Okay, that seems to be like they know what they're doing, who we are. Okay.
Right. And they make it clear that they not only do contracting, but they specialize in demolition as well.
Yep.
So it's interesting that differentiates them a little bit, I think, because not a lot of big contractors within the industry offer their own demolition services in-house. A lot of them are outsourcing a lot of that to a different subcontractor. So it's interesting to see that is one of their biggest selling points.
Yep. If I would give some form of constructive feedback here, I would have a section somewhere here where they kind of showcase a full variety of their different services. And I'm going to show you an example here that I think we can learn a little bit from, because it's kind of interesting. And that is, let's see. Jesus, they're blocking me because of my VPN. I'm going to pause that for a second and see if that will help them let me in. Yes, it did. Is this website here? And okay, I'm swinging, and this might be a miss now because I see that they've updated their website. This was what it looked like before.
Oh wow!
It's probably going to be quite different. Yeah, so it's sort of here. So what I like about how they present their services is they talk about the problem they're solving. What is the challenge? Generate qualified leads at a national level for a niche B2B product. Our approach: zero testing and optimization, SEO content pruning, and SEO content refreshing. And then you see here that led to a 131% increase in SEO.
Okay, it looks like we lost Edward. So guess it's on me now. Fortunately, I don't have access to show my screen, so I can't continue. Oh, we lost you a little there, Edward.
I think it was because of my VPN, and they blocked me out here. Yeah, but so what I do like about this is they just talk about the challenge. Here's the problem we can solve for you. And everyone in copywriting knows that you want to address the problem and pain points much more rather than just the desired outcome.
Right, absolutely.
Want to take action based on solving problems than achieving an outcome. So that might be something constructive that they can do a little bit better here. See what our clients are saying. Building trust, again, really good here. This is like a good way to rate this is first page in Google class website, I would say. Contact us is never a call to action I would use, however.
Really?
No tests ever showcase the contact us is the best converting call to action. Yeah. Most engaging.
It's
video content. Yeah, exactly. Here's some video content. Okay.
See, this is what I was talking about. See, they got a time lapse video.
Yeah.
See, this is interesting. You can go on YouTube and just watch this for your own enjoyment.
Yeah, and professionally made and stuff like that too.
Sure.
I still have comments to that though. I think it still can be like, yeah, that seems like one project and it's nice and professional, but it could probably have like a voiceover to explain a little bit better and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that would be better to probably showcase, maybe some of that project, some of another project, and with the voiceover would be better to explaining what it is and how it went, this and that.
All right. Here is now the different services. This is what I said, a little bit higher, I would put it.
Yeah.
And then obviously I should be able to click in here. Let's say that I click on demolition. Why choose us? And here they have, very, very good. Very good. Get a quote within 24 hours. Yep.
Perfect.
All right. So Bella Contracting Services do it like the feedback we can give to them is going from great to best rather than catastrophe to survival. Our promise to you, I love this stuff. Very, very good.
Yeah, those are, and they're hitting on all the pain points that you're dealing with within commercial construction. If you go up to those points, I mean, one of the biggest things that clients want to see is transparent pricing. I mean, I can remember always being asked to break down specific line items so they can see what they need and what they don't need. I think the rest of them are pretty good too. It's pretty specific.
Yeah. Ready for a quote? Yep. And here's some examples of work. So look, I think for sure here is, as I've done these different roasts over the last few months, I'm gonna put this in one of the best sites I've seen so far. Um, they have so many of the ingredients that you want. If I would think this website converts really, really well. Um, I might recommend that they have like a live chat or something down here. That just do you have a quick question? You want to make it as easy as possible for people to engage, but of course that also means that you're going to get spam. You're going to get a lot of people who are just fishing for prices or whatever that might be. But there's few websites I've seen doing this that I would. Again, we can only guess here because we don't have access to the backend and their traffic and data. But my prediction, having done this for such a long time, this is probably one of the best converting websites I've seen. That follow a lot of the best practices, I would say.
Yeah, I mean they have to, right? Because they're probably spending a crazy amount of money on their Google Ads spend.
Yep. Exactly.
To be able to rank that high in New Jersey, it's a lot of money.
Yep. And then have a website that isn't really that good and not converting well, that would be suicide. But I think again, a company like this, I am sure they've spent more than $20,000-$30,000 on their website. I don't know, but again, I'm just guessing based on my experience. So they probably have the resources to be able to build a site like this, and they most likely didn't do it in-house. They hired a professional agency who built this website for them, I believe.
For sure, I would agree with that.
All
and
right.
not just the content. I mean, look at the photography with the videography.
Yeah.
It's a lot to get somebody out and actually get some content around the stuff that you're doing in the field. It's expensive.
Exactly. I feel like we've been on a bit of a journey here.
For sure. Yeah, we went from a 0 to a 3 to what? Yeah. So where are we at now? Where are we at now with Bella?
Here's where we started. Arco Consulting Group. And again, I want to be constructive, and this should obviously be helpful. Arco needs a full website revamp. And knowing that construction people normally aren't that tech savvy, sorry, I assume that we need to hire an expert that can help them get this up to speed. But like, I would guess by only getting a better website, a little bit of a better messaging, more visual, talking about those things that you mentioned, transparent pricing, like adding a couple of things like that, I am sure they would be able to get at least 10 leads a month. They weren't invisible on Google, but they weren't on the first page, and for a good reason. So they have a lot to work on. They need a full website revamp for sure. This is just, I would throw this in the bin and start over. Maybe the only thing that I would keep here is the certifications. That's it.
Yeah. But even that, that needs some work, make it look a little pretty.
Exactly. Geez, I gotta mute myself to cough. Second one was Dallas Contracting. Very good design. That's not their issue, but very weak messaging, poor call to actions. Don't see what makes them different, unique. I think they're losing a lot of potential business opportunities because of the current website that they have right now. They could probably get a lot more if they fix their messaging. And then lastly, we had the Bella Contracting Services, who is a 5-star website, if you ask me. Wow. This really, for me, stands out as like a professional agency. But with that, of course, they're not fishing for low quotes either. They're probably 100%. Top projects.
You can see, they're top rated, and they probably have a lot of SEO content as well. I can see they have a blog. Testimonials are right up there on the top page. They're communicating their professionalism very well through the design and also the messaging.
Exactly.
on the website. So agreed. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10.
Beautiful. Well, Kevin, it was really good to have you with me here for this. You can obviously provide so much more context, and you see things that I cannot see because of my limited experience within construction industry. So I hope this was fun for you, and I hope this was valuable for anyone who watched. If someone would want to talk to you, Kevin, and stay in touch with you, where would they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. This was a ton of fun. It was very insightful for me to see, what your opinions are on a 10 out of 10 website. And we didn't get to talk very much about, opt-ins and the things that lead into more of my world in the email marketing space. But certainly maybe on another time we can talk about that. And so, yeah, I mean, you can reach me at copyrightkev@gmail.com, and on X it's copyrightkev. And I'm happy to take a look and see, how we can optimize your email marketing and how we can create a better funnel for you to get more conversions, because that's what we need at the end of the day, right?
Yes, exactly. And plus your wife designs websites, her as well. So with her
Absolutely.
designing the websites and you're with the copywriting, that should probably be a quite good match there.
Absolutely. It's a winning team. You get the website, you get the email marketing all in one package.
Yeah.
It's MLS Studio.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And thanks for everyone who watched this episode. If you want to get your website roasted, you can just leave your website in the comments and wait for me to contact you, whether that is email, phone, or that is. I love doing this, and anyone who leaves their website, I will do a video recording to give you a little bit of feedback. So doesn't need to be public, but just so you see how I recommend that you can improve your website without breaking the bank. I'm wishing everyone a really good weekend. Thank you so much again, Kevin, and I'll see you all around.
Of course.